Hello, welcome back to Bumpy Road Brewery. I brewed today, and what I brewed was my Quare Bungle Rye, which is an Irish red ale. Now, for some of you who watch my videos, you may ask, why would you brew a style that you're really not keen on? And basically what I did was I took a style that's kind of to me and messed around with it a little bit. So I'm just gonna run through first off like the basics of the beer. I'll give off the whole build. So if anybody wants to, if anybody's a home brewer and they want to brew this, feel free. And at the end of this, hopefully you guys will stay tuned. And I just have a little bit of like an audience participation part that I want to throw out. So right after this portion, I will have some stills of the brew day. I took some pictures, so we'll run through that, and then I'll have my final comments. So to build Quare Bungle Rye, what I'm going to do is I'm going to run through the percentages of grain versus the pounds and ounces that I used. This will just give you a better scope of what I'm actually using for my percentage versus like what you might get for like efficiency or your total grain bill if you brew a larger than 5-gallon batch. I had mine set up to a 5.25 gallon batch. So first off, I'm just going to give off the, if I can find it, I'm going to give off the SRMs and IBUs and hopefully the final ABV. This was supposed to be a 5.7% ABV beer. The color, the SRM color, I was shooting for a 13, and the bitterness a 25 IBU. So with that in mind, now I will run through the percentages of the grains that I used. First off, we have Vienna malt at a 79.1%. I have flaked rye. So this is like one of those differences that I'm going to add to the Irish red. I'm adding some rye to it, so we'll give it a little bit more of a spicy bread note. So that was at 8.8% of the flaked rye. I had Crystal 60 Lovey Bond at a 6.6%, aromatic malt at 4.4%, and Carafa 3 at a 1.1%. The hops I used, it was all Fugel or Fuggle, however you want to pronounce that hop. My, I'm going to call it Fuggle, was at a 5.5% alpha acid. First edition was at a 30-minute boil where I used 50 or 0.5 ounces. And then my final hop edition came in at 5 minutes left of boil of 2 ounces of the Fuggle. It was a total of a 60-minute boil. And besides the hop additions, I also added a Warflock tablet to help clear the brew itself out. For the final brew, it should hopefully be clear. And also, we'll go over some water addition stuff. What I was shooting for was kind of a balanced amber water profile. Normally I probably would have gone for like a full amber, water profile to try to bring out more of that malt flavor versus keeping it balanced with the hop and stuff like that. But there is a reason why I did that, and I will bring that up at the end. And the body on this, I did 152 mash temperature for a bit over an hour. Give it like a medium body. So that's pretty much everything that you're going to need if you want to brew this. The yeast that I used was the Yeast Irish Ale. I think that's a 1084 on the number scale. Yes, a 1084 for Yeast. I just used one smack pack of that because this is only supposed to be like a 5.75 to 5.5. Throughout the brew day, my numbers did come up a little bit shy, so I may have to drop down my estimated efficiency level a little bit. I have it set at a 72. I might have to drop down to like a 71. My original gravity, instead of being a 5.8, came out to a 5.4. Now, depending on where it actually comes out for the final gravity, it can still reach that 5.75 ABV that I was originally shooting for. But I would be happy with a 5.5. Right now, if everything finishes off the way it's supposed to, I'll probably be around a 5.3% ABV. So go ahead and hopefully you enjoy the pictures of the brew day coming up now, and just stay tuned. Like I said, I do have a little audience participation part that I would like some feedback on. So here we go, guys. Okay, so hopefully you enjoyed the stills of the brew day. The part that really makes this an extraordinary or an extraordinary Irish Red, what I'm going to do is after it goes through its primary, secondary fermentation, so once basically the beer is finished up, I am going to rack it onto some straight rye whiskey infused Hungarian oak cubes. So I've had these Hungarian oak cubes soaking in rye whiskey for 3 months now. And what I'm hoping for, now I'm not going to add any of the actual whiskey itself that they're sitting in. I'm going to strain this off and just add the cubes. So, I mean, if you just smell this, you pick up a lot of it's rye whiskey. You get a little bit of like an oaky wood barrel aged type smell, but it's mostly whiskey. And then if you just pick out one cube and you smell the cube, it's rye whiskey all the way. You can kind of get that, and then there's a hint of the oakness. But what I'm hoping is going to happen, because this is going to be sitting with the Irish Red Ale on it, so just like when I'm holding it now, what I'm left with on my finger, you get more of that oak smell. So it kind of comes off smelling like it's like a whiskey barrel. So I'm hoping it's going to make this taste and smell like it was aged within a rye whiskey barrel itself, versus having the rye whiskey and stuff actually in it. So that's what I'm hoping for. That's what makes this one special. I do want to try to get this one out to folks. I can't get it out to everybody, but there's some people that I definitely need to get some stuff to. So I want to try and get this out to a select number of my followers. And what I'm asking for in the participation part is I need to know what I need to brew for my next beer, because I don't want to just send out one beer if I'm going to send out a couple. So my next brew, I can do New England IPA. I have my late to work, mess around with it a little bit, change it up from the last time I brewed it. I can brew a Belgian ale, but what I do with that is I Americanize it a little bit, and I'll hop it up and add American hops to it. So it's like a Belgian American ale, or maybe do a Kolsch style brew. So if you guys want to just out of those three, I just threw off whatever my next brew might be, so I can kind of put that in with this one when I can get that out to folks. I'd appreciate it. So please leave comments down below as to what my next brew should be, so that way I don't have to think too hard myself. I'll just kind of be pushed to what I need to go to. So cheers, guys, and thank you for watching.